Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Design and Quilt Monthly. My name is Mark Garretts and I'm a National R&K educator. And in this month's lesson we're going to be covering working with blocks that have circles and also quilts that have circle blocks in them. So let's go ahead and get started. So in order to use circles in your blocks, you need to be in what we call Create Advanced Block Mode. So I'm going to click that icon, and that gives us a quilt block, and the default is 8 by 8 inches wide, and then we have our grid here. And I have Snap to Grid turned on. So let's just take a look at my grid settings in case you want to duplicate them and follow along. I have Show Grid and Snap to Grid, and I'm in inches. And I'm going to click Grid Settings here, and my horizontal and vertical is 1/4 of an inch. And then I have these grid major lines, which are the purple lines every 8, so that I've got a 4 by 4 matrix here. And you can set this to whatever you want, but the main thing is we want Snap to Grid on. That'll make things a lot easier for us here. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now to put a circle into a block, we have a special tool for that, and it's right here called the Block Ellipse tool. And it's right next to the Block Line tool, which is the first tool selected by default. And here is the Block Ellipse tool. So this makes ellipses and circles. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and then I'm going to show you how to create a simple circle. Now, if you're used to our other programs, if you want a perfect circle, you have to hold down the Control key and drag and click and drag the mouse to create a perfect circle. Design and Quilt works kind of in reverse. So it by default creates a perfect circle, and if you want an ellipse, you have to hold down the Control key. So let me show you what I'm going to talk about here. So I'm going to get in the center, and I'm going to click and drag, and you can see it's making a perfect circle, and you can see that it's also snapping to the grid lines. Okay, so it's making a perfect circle. If I now I still have my finger down on the mouse. If I hold down Control and drag, you can see that I can get an ellipse. All right, so I'm going to let off Control because we're going to be working with perfect circles today. All right, so now I've created a perfect circle. I'm going to undo that because one thing I want to talk about is the way circles get created. So circles get created from the center out in this program. So wherever you click and start to drag, that's where the center of your circle is going to be. And the other thing that you need to know is that you can't actually move a circle once you create it. So let me just create another circle here in the center. And there's my circle. If I click on the Block Edit tool, I can change the points, so I could click and drag a point. But you see, when I do that, it gets rid of the curve. So it's not real useful to do that unless you wanted a half circle, in which case you could do this and you could create a half circle, and that could be kind of a fun thing to do for certain blocks. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to click a couple of undos to get back to where I have nothing. So again, the take home from that is wherever you want your circle to start, that's where you need to click. So what we're going to do as our first exercise is we're going to create a half circle block. So this is going to create half a circle in the block. And then when I put actually 1/4 of a circle, not a half a circle. So if I put 4 blocks together in the right way, I will get a complete circle in my quilt. So to do that, I'm going to select my circle tool, and I'm going to come down here to the bottom right on this corner, and I'm going to click and drag a circle. And you can see that it is going off the quilt, but it's going to get bisected by the edge of where my block is. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way out to here and let off the mouse, and you can see now that it has bisected this block into 2 pieces. This piece up here and this piece up here. So I'm going to go to my piece select mode here, and I'm going to select this piece, and I'm going to color that in, let's use a light blue. Let's use this one. And I'm going to color this other one in a red. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so there's my quilt block, and I've got a circle here. And if I want to use this in a quilt, what I would do is I would save it. So I'm going to come over here and go File, and I'm going to save it to my library. You can see I've been doing a bunch of tests here to prepare for this. So I'm going to call this a quarter circle. So I'm just going to type in Q-U-A-R-T-E-R circle and click Save. And now that is going to be in our block library. So if I come over here to my create a new quilt layout, I'm going to again default to a 4x4. It defaults to borders and sashing. I don't want either of those in this example. So to get rid of the sashing, I'm going to put a 0 in the height and a 0 in the width. And then I'm going to click Apply, and that gets rid of our sashing in the center. To get rid of the border, all I have to do is select one, press the Delete key, and that gets rid of my border. So now I can click a block, and I'm going to insert a block by going to my quilt block library, and here's my blocks. So if it doesn't default to my blocks, it's somewhere else, like maybe in the Alex Anderson blocks. You can switch to my blocks, which is where when you say File, Save to Library, it saves it by default. Here's our quarter circle that I did, and it puts it right there. And if I want to add another one, I could do the same thing, but I can also take this one and I can select it, right click and select Copy, and then I can come over here to this block and I can click Paste. But I also have a Paste to All blocks, and I have a Paste to the row, Paste to every other. Okay, so I'm going to do a paste to the selected row, and then what I'm going to do is select this block, and I'm going to rotate it to the right. Okay, and that puts it with that one. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to click Rotate Right, and that rotates it like that. Now what I'm going to do is select this whole row by clicking the first block and coming over here and shift selecting the last one, and that selects this. Once again, I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to select the first block over here, and I'm going to click Paste, and that puts them in here. They're still all selected. What I'm going to do now is flip them vertical, and I right click to do that, and now I'm starting to create my quilt. Now to create the same thing down here, I'm just going to click here, shift click down here to select all of this. I'm going to select Copy. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me undo that. I'm going to reselect here and select Copy, and then over here I'm going to right click and select Paste, and there I've got a quilt with basic circles in it. Now I could do a different pattern. I'm going to reset this. I'm going to let me just select everything and just delete. So let me just click. I'll just do a shift click down here to select the whole thing, right click, and I'm going to click delete to start over again. Let me put that block back in here. I'm going to go back to my quilt block library and click that quarter circle, and let's do something different with it. Let's do kind of different patterns. So let me copy it, and I'm just going to do a paste to all blocks, and so that gives me this here. I could do that if I wanted to. If I wanted to create sort of like a drunken look, I could rotate this left, and then I could come over here and rotate this one right, and let me rotate it one more time, or I could have flipped it, and so I can go on and make patterns like that. So you can see how that would work if I continued to rotate and do that. But let's move on to the next kind of block. I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm not going to save it. Okay, and I'm going to come back to this block. Okay, so I've got this block here, and I'm going to just get rid of it. I'm just going to delete it, and I'm going to start a new advanced block here because I'll show you a little bit of a variation on it. I'm going to go back to my circle tool, and this time instead of making just a single circle, I'm going to make a double. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stop a little less than halfway. So you can see I've left 2 squares here from halfway, and I'm going to come to the other corner and do the same thing symmetrically. So now I've got a double circle, and I'm going to color those. Let's go ahead and do red for here. And oops, I'm in the wrong thing. Hold on, let me get my piece select. There we go. Now I'm going to do red, and I'll do red over here. And let's make the center, let's do a purple. Okay, and so now I've got that one. Now if I save this to my block library, so again I'm going to go File, Save to Library, and this I'm going to call double circle, but I've already got one called double circle, so we'll call this double circle 2 and click Save. Go back to our quilt builder here, and once again I'm going to delete my borders, and I'm going to change my sashing to 0 and 0 and click Apply. Okay, and now I'm going to select my first block, go back to my quilt block library. There's the one I just created. This was my first one I did in different colors. We could choose either one. Let's go ahead and choose this one. And now we can right click it, say copy, and we can right click again and say paste to all blocks. And when I do that, I'm going to get that look, which is not really what I want. But I can select this one, and I can rotate them left, and I can do the same thing here and here, and do a rotate left. And now you can see I'm starting to create that block. Now let's take a look at what this looks like with that double colored one, and I assume I don't need to show you how to do that. I'm going to just select all of them and delete them. I press the delete key. I'm gonna go back to my quilt block library, select that initial double circle with a different color, and then I'm gonna copy that. And now I'm going to paste this one to every other block. Okay, and then I'm going to open another one. Let me just do that by going to my quilt block library again, and I'm going to bring that one in. And what I want to do now is I want to rotate this one to the right. Okay, so I've got those lined up, and let me copy this one. And I'm going to paste to every other. Okay, and oops, that didn't do what I wanted. I'm going to undo that. Kind of interesting, but not the effect I wanted to do. What I need to do is let's just complete this row, and I'll do it this way. I'm going to paste in here. All right, so there I've got this row. Now I'm just going to select this row. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it to here. Okay, and then it's still selected. I'm going to flip it vertical. Then I'm going to select everything that I've done up here, copy it, and paste down to here. Okay, so there I've got a alternating colors block, and you can see the things you can do with that. Once again, I'm just going to delete that. I'm not going to save the changes. I'm going to get rid of this block, and let me start with another block that's brand new, and I'm going to show you one more variation with the circle block, and that is what if I want a circle stripe like a wedding ring style quilt. I'm going to, oops, wrong tool, hold on, undo. Undo is your friend. I'm going to select the circle tool, and this time I'm going to come from the corner, but I'm going to come up quite a bit to there, okay? And actually, let me go halfway here. So what I'm looking at is I went halfway right here, and what I'm going to do is do the same thing and come down halfway down here. So I'm going to make it to there. All right, so I'm going to click again there. I'm going to come halfway there. Okay, now what I've got is 2 circles in the center, and I could do the same thing over here, but let's not do that right now. So I'm going to go to my piece select tool, and what I've got is a piece here, a piece here, and a piece here. Let me control click these 2 outside pieces, and I'll make those purple, and I'm going to make my inside piece a red. So let's do a red here, and now I'm going to save that block. So I'm going to come once again to my file, save to library, and I don't know, we'll call this circle test 6, and save that. And now we'll go back to our quilt maker, our quilt grid, and once again we will delete our borders, change our sashing back to 0, click apply, and let's put that block in here by going to my library again. Which one did I just create? I created this one, circle text 6, and now I can copy that, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate it to the left. I should have probably rotated to the right. We'll rotate left one more time, and I can do a drunken pattern like that. So let's go ahead and rotate it right one more time to get, oops, I'm going the wrong way again. Okay, we'll rotate right till we get it in the right place, or I could have just flipped it. So flipping and rotating when you have a block like this really is about the same thing. So now I've got half a circle. Let me select both of these. I'm going to copy them, and I'm gonna, I don't know if that worked. Hold on, copy, and then I'm gonna click here, paste, and then I'm gonna flip those horizontal, or vertical actually, and now I've got a circle, and I could select all of these, shift click, and I'm going to copy, and then I could paste it here, and paste it here, and paste it here. And you can see how that would work. If I had a different color circle over here, I could do the same thing, but you get the idea of how you can work with circles in your quilt. So that completes our lesson for this month. I want to thank you for watching and invite you to come back next month for another edition of Design and Quilt Monthly.